In this video, I'm going to show you the exact brushes that I use to paint this portrait of Clint Eastwood. Hi, welcome to Paint Coach. I'm Chris Fornatero, here to help simplify oil painting so you can get better faster. Alright, so before I get started, I'm just going to let you know all the brushes that I'm going to go over are going to be listed in the description with links to where you can get them. They actually all come from the same company, which is Rosemary & Co. brushes. I am not sponsored by them. I don't get any money from them. They just make really good brushes. I also have links to all the other supplies that I use for this painting that I won't mention, like my paints, canvas, paint thinner, stuff like that. I'd also like to hear from other oil painters out there which brushes they like to use. If they know anywhere to get good deals on brushes, if there are any brushes they can vouch for that are really good, please let me know. I'm always looking for good brushes. Also, if you have any questions or anything's not making sense during the video, if there's a topic or a certain section you think it needs more detail, you want more explaining, or a problem you have with brushes, leave that comment in the comment section below and I'll try to answer that in a later video. Alright, first thing I'm going to say, this might blow your mind a little bit, but I only used 4 brushes to paint this painting. A lot of people think that you need a lot of brushes. The more brushes you use, the better artist you are and the better your painting is. It's just not true. Some like to use a lot of brushes, some like to use very little brushes. Depends on what you're trying to do and what you like. I'm working on a 18 by 24 canvas to give you some kind of reference as to how big I'm painting here. Again, if you're painting very, very large on bigger canvases, you might need bigger brushes, or if you're painting on a really, really small canvas, you might need smaller brushes. But the brushes and the sizes I'm giving you are pretty good. I think they have a good range of sizes they can work for. I mean, use the same brushes on little 9 by 12 portraits that I do, even up to this 18 by 24 that I did. Pretty much gonna be using the same brushes. All right, so the first brush that I'm going to be using is the Rosemary & Co.'s Ultimate Filbert number 4. And I'm going to be using this for the first stage, which is just blocking in the major shapes and values and just getting some color, getting some paint on the canvas. My paint is relatively thin. It's the first layer of paint that I'm putting on. You don't want to just start globbing on big chunks of paint that you'll be fighting for the rest of the painting. I'm keeping it thin. I'm not worrying too much about getting the exact right color. Just in a general sense, like I got kind of a mid-tone, like, it's not my brightest highlight, it's not my darkest dark. And I just really am focused on covering as much ground kind of as quickly as possible and getting something on there to work with. And using a large brush helps with that. It also forces you to only see the big picture thing, the large forms, the large general shape of the face. If you start out with a smaller brush, it's very easy to just start getting into detail way too soon before you've solved a lot of problems and issues with the general shape, because if you don't nail the general shape and structure of the face from the beginning, it's just going to throw everything off. So I really like this brush. I like the Filbert. It's flat, so I can kind of turn it on its side. I can use it and make a lot of different kind of marks with it. You can get actually pretty thin with it in certain areas. You can cover a lot of space. It holds the paint really well. It's got it's the ultimate bristles, so really thicker bristles. And I really kind of go hard and fast with this brush and just really lay on the paint really quickly and kind of rough. And this is just a great brush for the beginning stage of laying down some paint for you to work with. All right, so once I've got some paint on the canvas and got a general shape of the face, I want to start dialing in a little more and getting a little more specific with the shapes. Where is the brow bone, kind of defining certain things, the cheeks, portions of the mouth, like kind of just define it a bit. It's not really detail. I'm not going in there and painting like individual eyes or lips or anything like that. I'm just kind of restructuring the face a little more detailed. So I'm going to go actually down to a little smaller brush. Still a Ultimate Filbert, just going down to the number 2. And I really like this because it's, it's still the beginning stages of the painting. I'm not worrying about finessing the paint at all. I'm still kind of rough and loose with my brush strokes, and I'm standing away from the painting. I'm seeing everything as a whole. I'm not getting too zeroed in on one part. I'm kind of working everything, but this smaller brush kind of allows me more control to define those shapes a little easier than a larger brush. All right, so at this point, it's kind of like my favorite part of the painting where everything is kind of set. It's like the paint is on there and the kind of map of the face is laid out, where the shapes are and everything. And now it's just a matter of pushing and pulling the paint and pushing, pulling the values, the colors, and kind of constantly comparing and shifting things. And this is where you can get some detail, start going into detail with certain aspects. And I use Rosemary & Co.'s Evergreen Short Flat. It's not the ultimate bristle, it's the Evergreen, and it's very small. It's actually a number 0. And this is really a workhorse for me for brushes, because I'll paint so much of it with this small little brush. And I really like the control that I have. The bristles aren't as stiff. It's the Evergreen brush, so it does leave kind of a smoother brush stroke on the canvas. But this is where I'm laying in highlights. It actually blends well. Like I can blend certain colors together on the canvas easier. It holds its shape very, very well. I've used this a lot, and I paint pretty hard and a lot and very often. This is still holding its shape, and it's very flat, and you can turn outside and you actually can get a very, very thin brush stroke if you want. And I like not having to constantly change brushes while I'm painting, and I feel like I can get a pretty wide variety of brush strokes with this, because I like to just kind of keep the flow going, and I don't have to stop and keep picking up different brushes. So while I'm doing this, I'm adding highlights here. You can get some pretty detailed drawing with this too, as well. I'll draw things, kind of draw the eyes. I'll turn outside. I can get just like the eyelids, a little highlight under the eyelids. I can lay that in, and it's a flat, so you can get a straight line with it too, which is really nice. A straight edge, which comes in handy a lot. All right, and the last brush that I actually didn't use it that much on this portrait. I've used it a lot on my other portraits for the fine detail, like working little sections of the eyes, just anywhere that I need a lot of detail and I need a lot of control and be very precise. And that's Rosemary & Co.'s Eclipse Rigger, and I'm using the number 2. Be very careful with this brush, just in terms of taking care of it to keep its shape, because once it loses its shape, it kind of loses its purpose. But this is great for any really fine, lines in the face. Sometimes with hair, if you want to get really fine with the hair, you can do that. I didn't do it with this one, but if you want like very thin hair strokes, this is a really good brush to use. All right, so you're probably wondering, how much are these brushes going to cost you? Probably going to cost a lot. Really expensive brushes? No, not expensive at all. Great quality, great price. We'll go over it. For the Ultimate Filbert, the number 4, the big brush, that is going to be $5.26 before tax. The next one, the Ultimate Filbert number 2, is going to go for $4.78. That's it. And then the Evergreen Short Flat is going to be $4.19. And last, the Rigger is going to be $6.72, giving us a total of $21.44. After taxes and everything, it's going to be around $25.73. Shipping will vary based on where you are, but it's not too bad. This is, as far as quality brushes for the price, you can't beat this deal. So if you just have no idea what to do with brushes, what brushes to get, where to start, this is a good place to start. I think this is a great place to start, especially portraits in particular. I feel like you'll be able to achieve everything you want, or any problems that you come across while painting, we'll be able to solve with some of these brushes. Also, keeping it simple at the beginning when you're first starting out is very, very important. The last thing you want to do is overwhelm yourself with a bunch of brushes and spend a bunch of money and then painting and realize you don't know when to use these brushes, and then you're just using brushes to use them because you spent money on buying them. That's the last thing you want. Start simple. If you need more, look into more, buy more. You can always buy more. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. You can also follow me on Instagram at Forza43. I'm Chris Fornatero here telling you to go get painting.